Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our fellowship assembly for the month of April with the theme of protecting the environment and walking for peace. So I wish we had a few more people, but can't really help it this time of the year. Everybody's busy traveling. Had a few regrets from a few people. So did you want me to do the little intro here, Kim, for the environment, or is Jim doing that?
Whoever wants to do it.
Okay, you go ahead, Jim.
Okay, for the video itself?
About the focus for April. Do you want me
Okay.
just to read that part, or have you got it there?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
So the focus for April, as we said, is the environment. Already this year, there is currently an uncontrolled fire in BC. $18.4 million in Foundation Global Grant funding has been allocated to environment-related causes in the past 5 years through Rotary support of community economic development and water, sanitation, and hygiene projects. And Jim has a little video clip for us.
Okay. Today we'll be watching two videos. The first is from SRECCO, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group that was formed in 2015. But the genesis of the group goes right back to July of 1990, after Rotary International's resolution to celebrate November 1st as Rotary Ecology Day. SRECCO provides an organizing point and informational resources to share information with clubs and communities about sustainable practices and the global humanitarian crisis of climate change. And the membership is open to all, Rotarians and non-Rotarians alike. So I'm just going to pull up a video here.
Clear. Climate change is happening now. It is serious and life-threatening. Humans have caused it.
We know how to fix it. The environmental tide is turning. We need to act quickly, ambitiously, and sustainably. We need to act together. Is it the truth?
Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation support addressing the causes of climate change.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Our planet, children, grandchildren, and people Rotary works hardest to serve will shoulder the consequences of our current actions. Actions to mitigate and adapt help us, future generations, and the planet.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Our work is already building goodwill and better friendships around the planet.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Consider the impact of our actions and projects on today's and future generations.
SRECCO has a climate roadmap. Increase our impact by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Engage through carbon emission reduction and nature-based solutions. Expand our reach through partnerships. Adapt by aligning our investments.
Consistent with the types of climate actions that Rotary Foundation has chosen to fund through its global grant guidelines, SRECCO supports Rotary's engagement to reduce greenhouse gas levels on the atmosphere by reducing emissions and increasing carbon sequestration, and to help communities build resilience to adverse climate impacts for which mitigation is not enough.
Okay, and back to Tammy.
The Rotary Foundation will enable our clubs and our community allies to take action in these ways: protecting and restoring land, coastal, marine, and freshwater resources, enhancing the capacity of communities to support natural resource management and conservation, supporting sustainable agriculture, fishing, and aquaculture practices, addressing the cause of climate change by reducing the emission of greenhouse gases, strengthening ecosystems and communities affected by climate change, supporting education initiatives that promote behavior that protects the environment, advocating for sustainable consumption to build an economy that uses resources more efficiently, addressing environmental justice issues and public health concerns, and groups in Alberta and our communities are actively engaged in supporting environmental initiatives. Jim?
While we're pausing, While
Pardon?
we're pausing, this is my friend Chris Lum that's joined us.
Hi, Chris.
Chris,
He's the
Hi,
one
hi, everyone.
trusted.
I did, and I think the price I had to pay was Kim told me that I should come to the Rotary meeting this morning. So, and I'm happy to do that anyway.
Super glad to have you here. We're just ready to watch another video. And this video is about the Alberta Emerald Awards, which showcases organization, projects, and individuals from across Alberta who are working to address environmental and climate change issues. Started in 1992 and supported by both the Government of Alberta and leaders in business, the Emerald Awards have supported over 400 recipients and celebrate excellence across all sectors. So I'm just going to pull this one up.
To create change in our environment. And we want to create
There we go.
positive change. And that's what these organizations that we're showcasing are doing. We have people who are doing waste management in different ways. We have solar projects. We have people who are taking care of our watersheds. And people don't know that. They do this day to day. And it's important because we want them to be inspired.
So we have 15 different categories ranging from business to air, energy, waste management, representing sectors across the province. So excited to have, not just urban projects shortlisted for this year's awards, but having more rural representation from across the province. And the students from New Wernham School are working on a variety of projects. They have, I think right now they're working on a renewable energy vehicle called the Cool Bus. It's a school bus that they're turning into a renewable vehicle. Zender Renewables is a really special solar installer in Alberta. They operate in Edmonton, in Calgary, and across the province. And what they're doing is they have a goal of installing solar on 1 million homes. So they're really working toward that goal. This urban farm is 2 acres in the middle of the city center. They've been there for about 10 years now. They really bring community together to create community gardens and share culture. But the special thing about it is that the land was previously unused land, and the urban farm came in to revitalize it and bring some life and community and love and local food to it.
We have had 350 people win an Emerald Award. So we do a very big celebration.
We would provide them with a $2,000 grant to put toward the continuation of their work. And in addition to that, they receive a feature in the Emerald documentary series, which talks about their work, why it's important, how it came to be, and how Albertans can get involved and make an impact in their own lives.
There's so much to be proud of in this province, and our organization makes sure that we all know about it.
Okay. So that's our 2 videos. I'm going to hand the floor over to Kim.
Can people see my screen?
yes,
So I entitled my presentation, Walking to a Better Future, and how I'm going to apply my love of walking to a good cause. So my first walking adventure, I was actually 4 years old. Oh, why does it keep going? When I was 4, I decided to take my little doll, my Pimmy baby that I had, and put her in the pram, and I went for a walk. Well, about 2 hours later, my mother realized I was nowhere to be found and called the police. And the police put out an all-points bulletin searching for me. And I had walked from Barrie through Allendale and out the other side of Allendale when the police finally found me and brought me home. It was a big adventure riding in a police car. But it turned out I had walked 10 miles at 4 years old.
oh,
I think I discovered in that moment that I really liked walking. And especially, I think I realized I liked walking alone, that it was quite nice. So that's where my love of walking started, and I've been walking ever since. So what happened to get me walking the big distances? In 2016, I went on a walk with my girlfriend. We walked Hadrian's Wall, coast to coast. And she told me about this project that Country Walking Magazine had, which was to encourage everyone to walk 1,000 miles in a year. And I thought, 1,000 miles, there's no way. That's a lot of walking. And I said, can't I just do 500? And she went, no, it has to be 1,000. You have to commit to 1,000. And so I said, okay, I'm on. But I don't know that I can do this. I don't know that I have the confidence to do this. And I don't know, Tammy, can you move the people so we can see all the pictures? But by June, I had walked 1,000 miles, and I went, oh, that wasn't so bad. Should I set a new goal? So I set a goal for 1,500 and had no problem meeting my goal that first year. So these are just various pictures of some of my walking adventures. And that's my, in the bottom in the ice there, that's my sting sword. It's in the Lord of the Rings stand. So after the first year, I thought, okay, I know I can do 1,000 miles. Maybe I should start to give myself some incentive. And so I came up with some new goals over the years. And while I talk to you about my goals, I'm going to actually play a little video in the background, keep you entertained. If you see something in the video and you want to ask me about it, go ahead, because I don't have 20 minutes of walking adventures. Can everyone see the video?
Yep.
Yes.
So in 2018, I decided, one of the people in the Facebook group for the Walk 1,000 Miles, their son had made an app to say that you could walk the path that Frodo took in Lord of the Rings. So I decided to get this app and I was going to do the walk. And it was quite a cool app. My goal was that year 1,932 miles, of which I walked 2,065 miles. But it would give you points along the way. So for example, from the Shire to Rivendell was 458 miles. So when I reached my 458 miles, I'd celebrate that, oh, I made it to Rivendell. And so I actually walked from the Shire out to Destroying the Ring, which is 1,784 miles. And then I walked back to the Grey Woods, which was the 1932. So after I had done that year, every January I sit down and go, oh, what am I going to do this year? I have to think of something. And I thought, well, why not walk across Canada and from coast to coast? So I thought, okay, I can't do that in 1 year. That's not reasonable, but I can do it in 2 years. So I started off in 2019 with the intent of walking from St. John's across to Long Lac in Northern Ontario. Because I had to cross the water to get from Newfoundland to the mainland, I decided I would bike the kilometers of the ferry. So I did make it all the way to Northern Ontario at 2,432.6 miles. I walked that year. And the next year I had thought, okay, I'll walk from Northern Ontario out to Victoria, and that would take me coast to coast. And so that was another 2,168 miles. So in the 2 years, I did 7,398 kilometers to get from coast to coast. This is a beautiful view, by the way, of Grey Lake. So then 2021 comes and I go, oh, now what am I going to do? And I thought, okay, I've walked coast to coast. Maybe I'll walk north to south. So I thought I'll start at Tuktoyaktuk And I'll walk to St. Cabos in Mexico. And what I was doing was I was also posting my milestones along the way on Facebook. And what I found walking from Tuktoyaktuk to Abbotsford, which was my first year, and then Abbotsford to St. Cabos, was there's not a lot of pictures that you can show of places between Tuktoyaktuk and Abbotsford. It's pretty much like the things online are like, oh, here's a marijuana store. And it was like, yeah, that's what I want to show. Because what I would do is I put a picture of where I was virtually with a picture of where I was actually when I got the same miles. Oh, there you are, Chris. So anyways, 2021, it was 2,303 miles that I walked. And then the following year, I walked from Abbotsford to St. Cabos, and it was 2,334 miles for a total of 7,475 kilometers. So along the way, I was also keeping track of my elevation gains because there's a second group that's tied into country walking that's called Everest Anywhere. And the goal of that group is you record your elevation gains and you celebrate every time you've walked from sea level to the top of Everest, which is 8,600 and some odd meters. And so actually in 2021, I managed to do 8 Everest in 1 year. So that was my big year. Anybody have questions that they want to ask about the videos? Jump in, or if you recognize something, or. So I thought, okay, I've done all of North America. What am I going to do next? And I had seen online some indication that you could walk from South Africa all the way up to the Arctic, and the longest road, I think it's called. So I thought I would do it in the opposite order. And so last year I started from Nuragam, Finland, and with the intent of walking to South Africa eventually over a 3-year goal period. And so last year I did 2,440 miles approximately, of which 500 miles were biking. And I made it to, well, partway out into the Mediterranean Sea through the port of Genoa is where I had made it. And my intention this year was that I was going to start my trip into Africa. And I hadn't really, I was recording my kilometers, but I hadn't really mapped out the route to get me through South Africa. And as I was trying to map it out a couple of weeks ago, I thought, geez, it's really hard to find roads in South Africa because none of them are on Google Maps. It's always, I'd say, oh, I want to go to this town next on my route. And Google would say, sorry, that's not in our mapping region. And I went, oh, now what am I going to do? And in the back of my mind, I think I mentioned this to Tammy last year, I thought, I'm doing all this walking. I should really raise money for Rotary somehow and put it to some cause. I'm just not sure what. And then when Jerry did his talk, I started thinking, well, why not raise money for medical supplies in the Ukraine? That seems like a really good cause. But it doesn't really match walking to South Africa. That's not lining up. So I thought, maybe I'll give up on walking north-south. And I decided to walk from the southernmost point in Spain to Kiev, because that would give me kind of a mileage that I can manage without killing myself. And it's that total distance is 2,400 miles approximately, or 3,900 kilometers. And so what I committed to doing was walking 1,800 miles and biking for 610 miles. Now, when I was doing the 2,000 some odd miles a year, that was working out to an average of 8 or 9 kilometers a day I was having to walk, which was a bit much actually. More for my husband than for me. By December, when I'd be behind by 100 miles, I would start to go, oh, I got to get out, I got to get out, I got to get out. And Juan was finding that very stressful, that I had these goals that I always left until the last minute to try to get. So 1,800 is quite reasonable. And what I decided to do is I'm going to create a fund, like a GoFundMe account. So there you are again, Chris. That's the top of Mount Lipset. Just as an aside, this is my GoPro. And if it's a nice day, a nice clear day outside, the GoPro does a wonderful job. It just looks so, it looks almost better than what your eyes can see. Like it's so crisp and clear. But anyways, I decided what I'm going to do is put up a GoFundMe, and Jerry's going to help me so that we can get it set up so the money goes directly into RCC. And hopefully we can set it up that people can get tax receipts through RCC. And I'm going to ask for people, I'm going to try to raise $1 for every mile I walk, which would bring me up to a total of $2,411 that I'm going to try to raise, which I think, Jerry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you were asking for clubs to donate $2,000. So that puts me in the ballpark for donating for our club, the $2,000. Well, I actually have 10 more minutes of video, but do people want to ask me questions about the walk before I go back to my PowerPoint at the end?
So
So
Kim, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tammy.
You go ahead, Jim.
So it must have been hard to get motivated, to do this you did it on a daily basis?
On a daily, yeah, I was over the course of so I would have month goals of how many kilometers I would have to walk in a month. And normally during the week, I'd be getting like 6 kilometers a day. And then I'd do a big hike of 18 kilometers to make up for the days where I wasn't making my 8 kilometers a day.
Yeah, you must like walking.
I do like walking. Walking is good for your mental health. I find it doesn't matter how upset I am about something or whether I'm feeling anxious about like Christmas presents or whatever. If I can get outside and get outside for a good walk, like 6 or 7 kilometers, I've never come back to the home where I didn't have a smile on my face. So
Kim, what kind of shoes do you wear and how many pairs do you go through a year?
well, it's funny you asked that, Kit, because when I walked Hadrian's Wall, we had rain like I had never seen in my life, like never. It was like someone was pouring a bucket of water on your head continuously. And my boots that I had at the time did not last that walk. So when I finished that walk, I was also going to walk Wales. And I stayed with a friend that I knew from England when I used to live there. And I said, we need to go out and buy boots because I can't do this. And so we went out and bought a nice pair of leather scarfas. And I wore those until there was no tread left on them. And then I happened to find the exact same pair at the sports store here in Canmore. So I bought a second pair. But those are my winter boots. I switched to trail runners now during the summer. I find that they're just much better. And if I'm walking in town, I have a good pair of walking running shoes, like a really nice supported shoe.
So which ones do you endorse? Seriously, by name.
Well, I do like my leather scarfas, but the ones, my summer shoes that I really, really like are Sportiva Speed. Yeah, I can send you a picture of them, Kit. Yeah, but they're trail runs, like they're not meant for walking on pavement. Because they've got quite a good grip on the bottom, so they're good for a lot of the scree and looser gravel that I walk on. That's Chris's dog Sunny there, coming out of the water.
Illegally off leash, we might
She's
note.
fully off leash, yeah. She's in the water, she's not on the trail, Chris.
Yeah.
This was backcountry camping. We went with my exchange daughter from Germany from 1997. She stayed with us for a year on an exchange. That's her there. And my son-in-law, my grandson, and she and Juan and I went backcountry camping. Just gorgeous when you get out there.
So this is just outside Canmore?
This is North Molar Pass, Mosquito Creek. So it's out on the glacier on Highway 93 before you get to Bow Lake.
I saw in one of the videos, grizzly bears.
Yeah, that was on Kananaskis Road.
Is that an issue? Do you carry something around to?
It is a big issue, yeah. We carry bear spray. Actually, camping on our way out to the campground, which is down the hill from where we are. This is like a day hike that we're doing. The whole way in, there was black bear prints and there was grizzly bear prints. So we got to the campground and of course, there's no one else there, even though it was fully booked. We were the only ones that showed up. And that night, I got up to go to the bathroom about 11:30. And after I got back in the tent, I started hearing, and there was a bear sniffing our boot hang. And I laid there thinking, okay, I don't want to deal with this. And the next morning, we saw the bear print had crossed the creek. So I guess he came, he smelled our food and went on his way.
Oh,
We also had a bear, though, at Yoho Lake last year that came right into our campground and put a hole in my good shoes kit.
oh,
Yeah, so bears are a little bit worrisome. I think actually that if we have a drought this year, I think the bears are going to be worse because they're just going to be more desperate for food. And they'll be moving closer. Normally they just ignore you, right? They just go their own way, but as we saw last September, that isn't always the case. This is Chester Lake. This little marmot's always there. And no fear of people at all. We saw a grizzly bear here. Remember, Chris? We saw the mama with the baby.
With the baby. Yeah, yeah, we have a picture of both. Yes.
Yeah.
From a distance, from a good, safe distance.
Very long distance.
Yeah.
This was at Yoho Lake. This elk, she followed me around for 2 days. She wouldn't let me go anywhere. She was just on top of me the entire time. It was really weird. And this is Chester Lake too. I think you were there that day too, Chris. Juan and I went swimming.
Yep. Yep. Very cold still. You can see the snow still on at the far edge of the lake.
That was the day we saw the grizzlies. We went with the whole gang that day.
So I'll just add here, although Kim says she likes walking alone, walking in the mountains especially is a really social activity in a very nice, casual way, because you don't have to be forced to be making conversation all the time, but just going for a walk all day with somebody is just a great way of spending a day together. And Kim and Juan were in the same engineering class at Waterloo with me. So we graduated in 1982, and we didn't really have connection for a long time, but we reconnected through walking probably about 7 or 8 years ago, I guess. We both live in Canmore, and we do lots of walks together, and sometimes we do more, and sometimes months go by without us doing something together, but it's always a really good connection. So whether we're raising money or not, I think it's just a really good social thing to do for all of us.
What about the other?
So this is up at Sunshine during the pandemic. So we have Sunshine Meadow all to ourselves. Normally, you're not going to get that in large season where you have the whole place to yourself. I think we saw 3 people that day because we had to walk up the access road to get here, which isn't fun. But it was worth it because it was such a beautiful day.
Kim,
Yeah.
it looks like most of your walking is on really rough terrain and that type of thing. How do you get so many miles in a day when you're walking in those kind of conditions?
Well, I know. I have been told that I should have a factor for difficulty, but I don't. I just think, whatever. I'll get my goal and walk in some great places and just have a little bit more effort to get there.
I do think it's not fair, though. It's definitely not fair because somebody
No.
who's walking on the east coast of the U.S. on flat terrain doesn't put in anything like the effort that Kim does with substantial vertical every walk.
Wow.
There's Lake Louise from the Beehive, right? Yeah.
So you must have to take some high calorie food on these walks because you'd be burning a lot of calories.
I don't know. I think your body gets used to it. So it's good to take some fat. I usually take something with a lot of fat in it. But normally it's just a peanut butter and jam sandwich and some nuts and maybe a protein ball or something. I used to take potato chips, but now I don't have very good blood sugar, so I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We actually managed to get up to O'Hara, so we won the lottery on that one. And while we were camping, it was our very first backcountry camping experience, and it poured rain the first day, like poured and poured. And we went to bed, and about 3 a.m, I thought, oh, the rain stopped, thank goodness. And then we got up in the morning, and this is what we've had. We had about 3 inches of snow on top of our tent. But it's beautiful, yeah. So I'm going to do a new share, assuming I can do that. Can everyone see my slide pack again?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to speak to this, Jerry. This is about the Ukraine Medical Recovery Project that I'm raising money for. And is Jerry still there? I can't see him.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Do you want to just talk to it, Jerry, since you're
here? Well, I'm getting everyday requests from Rotarians and also hospital staff for assistance. Yesterday, after the notification from Biden, there was a flurry of emails and requesting help. And it varies from tourniquets, body compress units, all the way to the hospitals in particular are asking for specialty drugs, the kind of things they use in surgery. Okay, so the need is not going down, especially in the last few months with the Russians making a really rampant rush to gain movement of the line. Okay, so that's still, the demand is there. We've got a few clubs that I've been working with that are working on small packages. Calgary West is doing a $40,000 tourniquet package. And Athabasca Rotary Club is stepping in on a small project. Rotary Club of Sherwood Park and so on. So there are Rotary clubs that are participating, and many are looking to partner with other Rotary clubs. And KIT is having a large display at the Drumheller Conference. And one of the things we hope to do there is to help Rotary clubs find a partner. So when you're offering to help support, believe you me, we can tie you up with a lot of different options. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about, maybe privately, say, what is your wish? Now, we have done, as our Rotary Club, we have used a similar GoFundMe program. So I wanted to talk to you about the different options. I
Yeah.
love it, though. I love it.
Yeah, so we could work offline on that, Jerry. So like I said, I'm going to try to raise $2,411, which I think is a nice number because that's how far I'm walking. So that's what I'm going to do. But what you can do is you can sponsor me, of course, as an individual. But once I've got everything up online, what would be really powerful is just to spread the news.
Yeah.
So take my posting and share it with your Rotary friends, share it with your church, share it with your social group, and let's get the word out. And I'm sure I won't have any problems raising that kind of money.
Yeah, I don't think so neither.
Yeah.
I think it'll work very well.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Anybody have any other questions or?
So Kim, all of your walking, is it all in person or is some of it virtual?
So I do a walk wherever I happen to be.
Yes.
And I track it on an Excel spreadsheet. And so for
Yep.
example, right now I've walked 705 miles, not counting the kilometers I ran yesterday, Chris.
Yeah.
And so that has taken me from Algeciras, which is where my husband was born,
Yeah.
to Mont-de-Marsan in France. So
Okay.
virtually I've walked to France, but in reality it's just local walks, right?
Yes, that's what I assumed, but I wasn't absolutely sure because you hike a lot too.
I do. I sometimes try to be someplace in reality that also happened to have been on my virtual walk,
Right.
but that's not that easy to line up actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's remarkable.
Mm.
So Kim, when you get close to Kyiv, would you like to have a virtual meeting with some of the Rotarians there?
That would
So
be
if you
wonderful, actually. And I
your
could take a
club-
picture. Yeah,
Yep.
a screenshot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because what we could do is you could join us Tuesday, Jerry, and I meet with Ukraine and Sweden on his project virtually, and you could meet the folks and then discuss and kind of come up with a plan for that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that, Kit. Yeah, every Tuesday we meet between 1 and 2 hours, Tuesday at 10 o'clock our time. And we
Right.
review, we've been going through different stages of progress in building the hospital project, okay? But that would be a really good place for you to meet some of the key players.
So are you meeting over the summer too? Are you going to continue meeting on Tuesdays?
We're going to continue until we have the hospital completed, but immediately after we'll be moving on to another major project.
So I can join you in July.
Yeah, so I think that's an ideal spot.
Perfect.
And I think we should also be able to put some awareness kit at your table in Drumheller. Okay, the brochure went to press yesterday. I should be sending you the first draft print by today, Kit. But
Okay.
there's probably a space to put something, maybe one line. If I get it in today, I could still make 1 or 2 line additions. So maybe offline, I'll talk to you about that because I've got 500 being printed out. And it would be a really great thing for Kim to have a mention somewhere in there.
Yeah, and the other thing we could do, if you could do me like a slideshow presentation that I can run on a photo frame. So the photo frame doesn't do videos all that well that I've been able to manage because I'm one day with it. But if we could feature your walk, because it's still the money's all going to go to the same place. Because they've got we have one one of the frames is going to be all the Ukrainian stuff, and then your walk that they could sponsor through that same website.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get going on that GoFundMe then, so we have a proper link.
I have one question, Kim, on your GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with different varieties. I need to know the details. Do you have a GoFundMe person that collects the funds originally and then transfers every 30 days to a trust account?
I don't know. I have never done this before, Jerry. so I'm
Because
gonna-
I've seen it go two ways.
Can we
And
just-
the ones that I found effective is I would get a list of all the donations, name, address. The official one they would use with Revenue Canada. Okay. And then I would get that with the amount. And then in 30 days, I would receive all that transfer to our foundation. And this record is what I give to the accountant to verify that that's the person that receives the tax receipt.
Okay, can we just take it so that the money goes directly to RCC?
Yes, you can. That's the other option. But if you've ever done a electronic transfer, there's 3 lines at the very bottom that doesn't show up as, it's just a comment that you can track through the bank. It can say, this donation is meant to be used for.
I see.
And then
Okay.
that triggers where it goes.
Okay,
But on that transfer, it's really, really critical that people don't use short names. If your name is Samuel, don't use Sam, because it has to reflect the exact name and address on your tax return.
okay.
If you just stress that part. And then the rest is easy for us because a CMA, an accountant, then takes it from there.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, maybe we can meet like today or tomorrow, Jerry,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
work on it.
So I gotta go. Thanks for letting me join your meeting,
Oh,
everyone.
thank you.
And Kim, great project.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks, good.
It
Okay,
is.
bye all.
So if no one has any more questions, I thank you, Kim. This was very interesting and ambitious. We wish you well, and I'm sure that most of us will consider supporting you on this. It's just a great idea.
Yeah,
It just makes my head spin to think how many miles you were walking on a regular basis.
Well, you bike, you probably do more miles than I do.
Well, yes, but it's a little easier to bike than walk.
Oh, hi, Angel. I didn't know you had joined us.
Yes. Yes, there's Angel.
Hello?
Anybody, I can stop the recording if you just want to chat now. I'll do that.